Guns have always been a part of my life. A lot of people don't understand how firearms work.
I hate that I think so much about this. We compartmentalize until it affects you personally.
My safety concerns also matter, and they are being taken away from me.
If you want people to listen, you can't offend them. I was kind of upset with the whole thing.
After Parkland, we knew that we had plenty of facts. What we were craving was a chance to dig in, for people to talk to one another about where the facts weren't enough. As citizens in a democracy, we learn that we can play a role by voting. We learn that we can play a role perhaps by running for office, but we never really learn how can we play a role by engaging with other people who think differently than us.
This is a moment in history when our country is trying to have one of the most difficult conversations. It's a conversation we've been having for 300-400 years.
We've brought together people from all sides of the conversation around guns in America to see if, by giving them an opportunity to meet each other and build trust, they might begin a new conversation in America about guns and their role in our community.
I came to this issue because when I was a junior in high school, one of my classmates came to my high school with a gun and shot my history teacher and killed him, and shot two of my friends. Two teenage daughters who were in high school, who were texting me. We're in a lockdown drill. Everyone else was given a baseball bat, but I only got a golf club. What should I do? And it infuriated me that here we are again, and my kids are now terrorized.
Do you feel safe that you have a gun?
I sleep with my handgun on my nightstand, and that does make me feel safer.
I'm just saying you in the house sleep. They'll get your weapon first.
You need my fingerprint, it opens 2 seconds, right?
Oh, it's in the lockbox.
It's in a lockbox. I
thought she was saying like, just sit down. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I practice. I can do it very fast. I was raised by my grandmother. She's had a heck of a life. She was always the victim. I'm like, okay, that is never going to be me. All these laws, all these gun controls also apply to people like me. And I am just that girl living by herself in the middle of a big city.
Today, I felt for the first time that I got to know someone who thinks very differently. I go, okay, I'm having a real conversation with a dues-paying NRA member, and I like them.
I'm born and raised on the south side of Chicago in the Inglewood community. Growing up in my community, I saw a lot of gun violence. At the end of the day, when the conversation came to an end, everybody hit the same common thing. It needs to be safety.
It's been almost 3 months since we were in DC. It was so exhilarating. I was very optimistic that we were going to change the world when I left DC. I thought, this is it, man. 20 of us, we're gonna go on tour, and we're gonna have these conversations all over the country, and we're gonna get everybody to do what we're doing and come together. And then we got on Facebook.
I actually left DC not knowing exactly where everyone stood. We spent more time getting to know each other than we spent time discussing gun issues per se. The Facebook group was different.
We brought people to DC to have a productive and meaningful encounter there, but also for them to have experience and tools when we brought them into a closed Facebook group. Could we help people remember this experience and then go out and share it?
At first it was overwhelming. I think I wasn't the only one that had to sort of step back, because you had these 130 people that were super excited to be part of this, and they're like, rah, mile a minute, you know, and I was tagged in all these different posts, and I'm trying to work on this one, and then someone else says something, and then we had a couple of people that came in that were a little aggressive. Those of us that were in DC were trying to chime in with some basic, you know, rules of etiquette that a lot of people really tried to follow.
Frantic search is intensifying for a gunman who killed 4 people at a Nashville area Waffle House.
During the time that we were in our Facebook discussion, there were additional mass shootings that, of course, we all needed to discuss. Even in that group, as we were trying so hard, when things like that happened, people would put their stakes in the sand and say, this is again why I feel this, or this is again why I feel this, and it would divide us.
I was a soldier in the United States Army for 20 years, and I spent 20 years as a police officer and just retired last year. So my relationship with guns is they've been a tool for me for virtually my entire life. That's a SIG 229 357 Magnum. Guns are a tool, like everything else, but they're not your most important tool. Your most important tool is your brain and your mouth. I was very frustrated with the way it seemed like the group had digressed, and so I was thinking about leaving the group.
Some of it got kind of ugly. So John Godfrey reached out to me via Messenger and said, all right, I have an idea, because I see you really trying to meet in the middle, and I'm really trying.
We kind of staged it to say, I'm going to post it at this time. We'll see how the dialogue goes, and if you get attacked, I'll stand up for you, and I'll speak out to the Second Amendment folks to say, let her make her point.
If we can start the conversation and show everyone else in this group how to do this, how it's possible to have a sane, kind conversation about a really difficult issue. Even though we fundamentally disagreed, we were able to find that little bit of Venn diagram again, say, hey, I think, wait, are we agreeing? Are we agreeing? Oh, you know?
Hey, how have you been?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fine, just sitting over here trying to solve all the problems in the world, you know?
I'm hopeful as we move into things like red flag laws, and that's where Dan and I can agree on a lot of stuff.
There is a level of due process that's going to be acceptable to everybody. We just haven't reached that point yet. One of the many frustrating things was they are asking me to compromise. My question back is, what are you willing to give up on to get my support? As soon as I ask for something, it shuts down discussion.
And I did question you at some point in that group about why you went to DC, because you don't seem to have any interest in really changing your view, nor should you. But I was curious about how much you were taking in from those of us that feel differently and considering it, seriously considering where we were coming from.
And it's really kind of funny, because one of the questions I had today was, would you go back to DC? And I said, absolutely. Because I don't actually have an opportunity to talk to people in a way that we were able to talk in DC, okay? What I see from Moms Demand Action is what's sitting across the table when I'm talking to legislators, okay? And that is definitely different than you and I sitting around talking, or even Peter and I sitting around.
A wild hope is suddenly there would be grand consensus, but that really wasn't what we expected to happen. At the end, I think there was transformation, that understanding that, wow, if we can go deeply enough, we can hear people at a whole different level. Do I wish it could have happened to everyone? Yes, completely. But it didn't, and that also has to be okay.
We as a society rush through things, and yours truly is guilty as anybody. And that's what the group did to me. It said, reflect, focus, go back, reset. I think we need to call a big reset in the country sometimes.